Hey, my little astronauts. It's me again, and we are going to do some more of our astronomy lessons today. Now, today we are on lesson 8. Now, in our last couple lessons, we've learned a lot of different information. But for our next two lessons, we're actually going to learn about our planets. Okay. Now, we have already talked about a planet and what it is. And we know that a planet is not a star, and it's different from a star because it doesn't make its own light. So let's think, which planet have we talked about that revolves around the sun and it doesn't make its own light? Could it be Earth? Yeah, Earth is one of our planets. Do you know any more of our planets? There's quite a few. Well, today I want you to listen carefully and pay attention because we're going to talk about all of our different planets. And I want you to listen for facts about each planet that make them unique or different from each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and share our screen. Wrong one. Sorry, guys. And let's go over our vocabulary words. All right, so today is the solar system part 1. Remember, it's going to take us 2 days to get through this. Abundant, plentiful, more than enough. The farmers celebrated their abundant harvest with a town affair. So look at all those, it's an abundance of carrots. I bet that rabbit's very happy. Accomplish, to achieve something. We can accomplish our goal of winning the game if we work together. Inner, close to the center, the inside of something. The inner circles of the spider web were smaller than the outer circles. Now, this picture shows what the inside of our Earth looks like. Remember, we have an inner core. Whoops. Solar, related to the sun. My mom has a solar-powered wristwatch that works by soaking up the rays of the sun. Unique, one of a kind. Each person in the world is different from any other person. So we say that each person is unique. All right, let's get started, shall we? All right, here we go. For thousands of years, stargazers have known that the sun, moon, and stars are not the only celestial bodies in the night skies above Earth. Ancient stargazers recognized that there were other planets up there as well. Remember that a planet is a large celestial body that revolves around a star for light and heat. What they did not know is that these planets, like Earth, revolve around the sun. Astronomers now know of 8 major planets, including Earth, that revolve around the sun. So the other day we heard the word major and its antonym or opposite, minor. What does the word major mean? It means big or important. In addition, there are a number of dwarf planets or little planets. The word solar is used to describe something that is related to the sun. For example, solar energy refers to the heat and light that come from the sun. Planets and other celestial bodies that orbit the sun make up what is known as the solar system. So what do we call the sun and the planets that orbit it? The solar system. And what does the word lunar refer to? Do you all remember when we talked about it? The moon. This diagram shows the 8 major planets in our solar system. About the only thing these 8 planets have in common is the fact that they all orbit the same sun on their own special path. Beyond that, each planet is unique or one of a kind or different. The first 4 planets you will learn about are called the inner planets. So it's the one nearest our sun or nearest the center of our solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So here's the 4 we're talking about right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun and the smallest of the 8 major planets in the solar system. Being the smallest and closest to the sun makes Mercury unique. Mercury can be seen from Earth, but it's hard to spot. You can only see it in the early morning or early evening. Most of the planets in the solar system are named after Roman gods or goddesses. Remember when we learned about constellations? Their names also came from Greek and Roman myths. The planet Mercury is named after the Roman god Mercury. In mythology, the god Mercury was very fast, so it makes sense that this planet is named after him. It takes just 88 Earth days for Mercury to complete a revolution around the sun, so it is a quick little planet. So remember, it takes us, Earth, 365 days to orbit the sun. So if Mercury only takes 88 days, which planet is faster? Mercury. At first oh, sorry. I almost forgot a part. All right. So look at this close-up picture of Mercury. What do you notice about it? I see those too. Little craters. We talked about those. Those look like our moon. What is on our moon? At first glance, you might notice that Mercury looks a lot like our moon with its rocky, heavily cratered surface. Mercury has some of the largest known crater impacts in the solar system, meaning that it has taken a real beating from some very large meteors. In fact, some craters are about 50 miles wide. Guys, that's big. That's real big. Mercury has no atmosphere to protect it like Earth does. Remember, like our moon, meteors just crash right into Mercury's surface, making the craters because there's no atmosphere to protect it. On the Earth, we have the atmosphere and those meteors burn up before they get to Earth. And because it's so close to the sun, the surface of Mercury is very, very hot or very, very cold. Temperatures on the surface facing the sun can range anywhere from 300 degrees to nearly 1400 degrees. So that's 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, guys, on Earth, 90 degrees is considered very, very hot. So in the summertime, think about it. When it's 90 degrees in the summer, we're sweating and it's really hot. But on Mercury, it can get up to 1400 degrees. Ooh, I don't think we'd be able to survive there, huh? While the surface facing away from the sun can be as low as 350 degrees below zero. Now, for us, 32 degrees is freezing. Like that's when water freezes, 32 degrees. If it goes below zero, that's negative degrees. So it's even colder and colder and colder. We would not be able to survive on Mercury. Venus is the second planet from the sun. It is named after the Roman goddess of love. Aside from the sun and the moon, Venus is the brightest celestial object that you can see from Earth. The brightest object in our night sky makes Venus very unique. Let's see, where was I? It is named after the Roman goddess of love. Aside from the sun and the moon, oh, I'm sorry, I already read that part. It takes Venus roughly 225 Earth days to revolve around the sun. However, like Mercury, Venus does not rotate on its axis very fast. In fact, Venus rotates in the opposite direction that Earth does. So if we go this way, then Venus goes this way. So it's the opposite of us. Okay, so I want you to look right here and right here. What do you notice? What do you see? I see the moon. Look, here's the moon, the crescent moon. What is this? Venus is sometimes referred to as the morning star or the evening star because it often appears as as a bright object in the evening sky or as a bright object in the morning sky. Venus is also known as Earth's sister planet because it is the closest planet to Earth, and the two planets are roughly the same size. So being a sister planet to Earth is another fact unique to Venus. So this is actually the planet Venus, not a star, but the planet. Beyond that, however, Earth and Venus have very little in common. Venus's atmosphere consists of a very thick layer of clouds, so it's difficult for astronomers to study its surface. We do know, however, that the surface is very hot and dry. Venus's thick, cloudy atmosphere traps much of the sun's energy, meaning temperatures on the planet can soar to above 800 degrees Fahrenheit. Guys, we wouldn't be able to stay on that planet either. So if you were to get on Venus and the sun was shining on the side you were on, it would be hot enough to melt our spacesuits. That's how hot it is. It's like 800 degrees. That's a lot. I don't think I'd want to be on there. So you also learned the word atmosphere when we first started studying astronomy. And what does atmosphere mean? Do you remember? The layer that's like a bubble of what? Gas that surrounds our Earth. Good. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so what are the first two planets we've learned so far? Mercury and Venus. Good. Okay. So remember, Mercury is the smallest and the fastest and the first planet. Well, maybe not the fastest, but it is definitely the first planet. Now, the brightest and the second closest planet to the sun is Venus. Good. But you should recognize the planet in this photo. It's your home planet, Earth. The third planet from the sun. Earth is the only planet that does not take its name from a Roman or Greek god. The word Earth is an ancient word that originally meant ground. When the word Earth was invented, the people living here did not even know that it was a planet. This photo was taken by the astronauts of the Apollo 8 mission. They did not get to land on the moon, but they flew around it. It's pretty cool looking, huh? That's what our Earth looks like from the moon. One of the most important factors that sets Earth apart from other planets is the abundant supply of water. Remember, that means there's lots or plenty of it. Water is essential for life. Without water, there could not be any living things like people, plants, or animals. Although some other celestial bodies in our solar system have some water, Earth is the only planet whose surface is mostly liquid water. Earth is also the only planet with an abundance of oxygen in the air, and oxygen is also essential for life. So its supply of water and oxygen makes Earth unique. So far, Mercury and Venus come, Mercury and Venus comes planet Earth where we live. So after Mercury and Venus, planet Earth. Okay, so Mercury is the closest to the sun, Venus is the next one, and then it's Earth. Mars is the fourth planet from the sun. Mars is named after the Roman god of war. Mars is often referred to as the red planet because of its color. So its red color makes Mars unique. Here, the word color means the tone you see when you look at something, such as red, blue, or green. The word color can also mean to draw or fill in a picture with crayons or markers or pencils, but we're talking about the color of the actual planet. So its red color makes it unique. You can see Mars from Earth, and even without a telescope, you can identify it by its reddish tint. The further you get from the sun, the colder it is and the longer it takes to complete a revolution or make one trip around the sun. It takes Mars 687 Earth days to revolve around the sun. It is interesting, though, that Mars rotates on its axis at about the same speed as Earth. So when it ends on its axis, it's going about the same as we are, but It takes a lot longer for it to go around the sun, almost twice as long. Mars has two moons, but they are small and oddly shaped. One of them is pictured here. Astronomers believe that these moons are actually large asteroids or space rocks that became trapped in orbit as they passed by Mars billions of years ago. So we have one moon, but Mars has two. Because Mars is relatively close to Earth, astronomers from NASA have been able to send several spacecrafts to explore that planet. NASA has sent several unmanned spacecraft into orbit Mars. NASA has also managed to send several small robotic vehicles called rovers to explore Mars's surface. The photo you see here is the first color photo ever taken on another planet. It was snapped by the Spirit Exploration rover. Most of the rocky surface of Mars is covered in a layer of rust, which is a reddish brown color. The rust explains why Mars appears to be red. NASA scientists hope to be able to send astronauts to Mars, but it may be many, many years before technology exists that might allow them to accomplish this or achieve this goal. Perhaps if you decide to be an astronaut when you grow up, you'll be the first person to set foot on Mars. It will not be easy to put a person on Mars, but people used to think it was impossible to go to the moon too. So Mars is also unique because it is a celestial body we might be able to visit one day. All right, so here's a little poem. And if you know the song Oh My Darling, it goes to that. It says, and you know what? I can't keep time with music, so I'm going to read it to you. But if you know the song Oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, then maybe you can sing it to this poem. I can't do that. I'm not very good at that. Do you know the solar system? It is our home in outer space. Planets orbit round the sun while it shines brightly in one place. First is Mercury, small and speedy. Second, Venus, shining bright. Third is Earth, a home for people. Fourth is Mars, a rusty sight. Fifth is Jupiter, big and stormy. Sixth is Saturn with its rings. Seventh, Uranus is tilted. Eight is Neptune, ocean king. Every planet is unique, but they all orbit round the sun. I know all about the planets, but Earth's my favorite one. Okay, friends, so now it's time for us to start talking about what we learned today. So let's go over our questions. Are you ready? All right, you heard that the word solar means something related to the sun. What is a solar system? It's a group of planets and other celestial bodies that orbit the sun. Okay, here we go. How many planets are in our solar system? Only 8. But if your parents are listening or your adult is listening too, they might tell you when we were in school, there were 9. Pluto is no longer considered one of the main planets, major planets in our solar system. We'll talk about that later. What do all the planets have in common? They all orbit the sun. Okay, you heard that orbiting the sun is the only thing all 8 planets have in common. What does that mean? That orbiting the sun is the only way that they are the same. In other ways, they're all unique or very different from one another. So, why don't these planets bump into each other? They all orbit the sun. Why don't they bump into each other? Because they each have their own path or orbit. Okay, so we talked about the first 4 planets that are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Why are they called the inner planets? Right, they're called the inner planets because they're the closest to the sun. Um, hmm, which planet has the shortest year? Meaning it takes the shortest amount of time. to get around the sun? Do you remember? Mercury, because it only takes 88 days. Which planet do you think has the longest year, meaning it takes the longest time to go around the sun? I bet we haven't talked about it yet because the further out you get, the longer it takes to go around the sun. So right now, out of the 4 we've talked about, it would be Mars, because remember, Mars takes 685 days to go around the sun, but I bet those outer planets might take a little longer. Okay, friends, so now we are done with our lesson for today for part 1. So you're going to go to your Google Classroom. I want you to go answer your questions. If you don't remember the answer to the questions, don't put, I don't know. That's not right. I'll have to count it wrong. So what I want you to do is go back to the video, watch it again, and see if you can find the answers. Guys, I know when you Google the answers. I'm giving you the answers in the video. So watch the video, go back and rewatch the video, answer the questions that way. I give you the answers to the video or the questions. So, but if you have any questions, you can always email me. All right, friends, I'll see you on our next lesson. Bye.